Obviously, we got the news on quick.
Yeah.
You've talked about the impact that he's had
Yeah.
on the team, but I mean, this I'm sure just sort of exemplifies how the organization feels about him and wanting to keep him around for at least one more year.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic. I mean, this is well deserved. He's in the room, and his game on the ice has been outstanding, and he brings so much so much of a winning culture and that character that he brings inside of our room. But his play on the ice has been excellent too. I mean, there was a point where Shesty wasn't available to us, and we needed somebody to step up. He was awesome. It shouldn't have surprised anybody, but you know, you come to a new team and you get a guy to jump in like that and carry the ball the way he did. He's had a fantastic year for us and gets rewarded with a contract extension. I know that everyone is thrilled that he's coming back next year.
I mean, we know he has the winning pedigree, but he was coming off of a couple of years. He's even said this himself, where he wasn't thrilled with how he played. I know the numbers didn't look great. I mean, to get that kind of bounce back, I mean, what do you think that says about him? What does it say about maybe Benny and the help that Benny's given him?
Yeah.
I mean, how do you kind of add all that up?
It's hard. I can't go backwards for the last couple of years and evaluate why or what, or you know, even suggest anything. I know that, you know, my knowledge of him is that he's always been a top tier goaltender in the league, and his successes has been evident by the way he's played, his numbers, his championships that he's won. I think that speaks a lot to his game and him as a person. And so when he came here, this is what I know, you know, after working with him on a daily basis, he works his tail off every day in practice. He's a great teammate in the locker room. His games have been outstanding, and all of that leads to, you know, another year here in New York, and so it's a real positive thing for our organization.
Do any examples come to mind as far as just when you talk about the locker room and the leadership in that aspect?
Yeah, I'm not good at examples. Sorry.
Or just the way that he carries himself and how that maybe has an effect.
He's a leader in the locker room. You know, he's a guy that comes in, he takes care of his teammates. He's had players over for dinner, and he cares about his teammates, and it shows.
Does this in any way change the way you plan for using him?
No.
Doesn't alter anything?
No, it doesn't change anything for us. We're going to do what we think is right for this year, for the day, for short term and long term.
Rempe, we knew he was a tough guy. You know, he's had that reputation, and we know he's, you know, definitely developed that more in the AHL. But he's going against some of the toughest guys in the league.
Yeah.
I mean, seeing him willing to do that, what does that tell you about the kid?
Yeah, I mean, he's a courageous kid for sure. If you look at him, he's always smiling. He's smiling in practice. He's smiling in the games. He's smiling before he fights. He's smiling after he hits. He loves where he's at and what he's doing. He's been a real positive impact inside of our team and inside the room, certainly on the ice.
As far as the length and what he brings in that fighting aspect, I mean, is he kind of unique in that way, especially when you look around the league right now?
Yeah, I think that there can be an advantage to that, the way, you know, he can hold people out there. He's long, he's lanky, but you know, like you said, the guys that he fought, they're not they're probably some of the toughest guys in the last decade, and you know, he's gone in and he's done a good job.
Last thing I want to get your thoughts on, how you read this situation, I guess. You know, the Panarin, Trocheck, Lafreniere line has been so productive for you. I'm sure that's a big positive. So, but when you look at that and you look at maybe what you're not getting, especially a 5-on-5 scoring wise from other lines, like how do you weigh that? Do you feel like you need more from the other three lines and maybe the other?
Yeah, I mean, we would like to get contributions from everybody, from the back end, in net, from the back end, you know, from the lines, defensively, offensively. The penalty kill can give you momentum. The power play. A season is a long season. There's ups and downs for everybody inside of that, and so we work with what's going on, and we try to fix things and get them going in the right direction. But I do know that it's a long year, and you know, that I think through the course of the year, there's going to be peaks and valleys for everybody, and you just got to continue to work through it.
Specifically, Mika's line, as far as what they're generating 5-on-5, what are you seeing there?
Yeah, I think right now that when you talk to Mika and his line, I think that there's a want to do more as well. And so those are the things that we work on. We look at video, we talk, we try to come up with a game plan. I'm confident that, talking about great players, I'm confident that they'll find their way.
You've been consistent with him and Chris together all year.
Yeah.
I assume, is there any thought to changing that look at all, or this?
Yeah, I mean, we always talk about things. We always think about things, and when we're back there and we're discussing the lineup, right now, again, there has been chemistry with them in the past. The Trocheck line has been a force the entire year, and so I believe we have the right people together.
So you don't foresee yourself at this stage?
Not at this point.
Yeah.
Everything's always subject to change. You know what I mean? So.
Just turning the page and looking at tomorrow, another top team in the East coming.
Yeah.
So what kind of challenge do they present for this group?
Well, I think it's awesome. They're the #1 team in the league right now, and so it's a chance for us to play the #1 team in the league and possibly sit there with them. I don't know if it gets any better than that right there.